Hi everyone, it's Marissa here from Rise High, and a big shout out to the Rise High tribe out there. Today I'm coming live to you with some more information about the $25,000 HomeBuilder Grant that is available for building or renovating your home. So some really exciting information, because on Friday the South Australian government released the application form and the application process to apply for this grant. So we've now got some more information that's necessary for you to know whether you're eligible and to work out how to apply. So today I'm going to be going through some of the basics, what makes you eligible, how you can apply, and going through the process and how the payments will be made. Let's get into it. So firstly, it is a tax-free grant, which is awesome. So no taxes payable, and it is available to existing homeowners as well as home purchasers. So it's also available to first home buyers in conjunction with the other grants that first home buyers are already eligible for, like the first homeowners grant of $15,000 and the first home loan deposit scheme. So an awesome time for first home buyers who can actually access up to $40,000 worth of grants, plus save thousands of dollars on lenders' mortgage insurance through the first home loan deposit scheme. But really exciting that it's still also available for existing homeowners that may be looking to upgrade their home either through a renovation or through building a new home. So to be eligible, you need to spend, if you're buying or building a new home, the maximum value of that home is $750,000. This includes the land value and the cost of the build. So $750,000 is the maximum limit. If you're renovating, it needs to be a substantial renovation that is going to cost between $150,000 and $750,000. And your property has to have been worth less than $1.5 million before the renovation. So with the renovation, it needs to be substantial and it needs to be structural in nature. You need to be adding to the structure of the property. So cosmetic renovations only will not be acceptable. And also if you're building things that are not connected to the main structure of your house, that's not acceptable either. So things like swimming pools, tennis courts, new sheds, that's actually excluded. So it needs to be, you're renovating structural renovations to the actual house, and basically you need to be able to prove that you're adding that value to the physical home. Like I said, it's also available for first home buyers in conjunction with the grants. And another great thing about this is that you can actually use the grant to buy a property that's just been newly built. So you don't actually have to build or renovate yourself to get this grant. If you buy a brand new house, you may be eligible for the grant, or if you buy an off-the-plan property, you may also be eligible for the grant. With both of those options, the construction has to commence after the 4th of June. So there you go. Now, it's important to note that these grants are only available for owner-occupiers, so it's not available for investors. So you need to be living in the house for a continuous 6-month period, and you need to move into the property within 12 months of the completion of the renovation or construction. So that's really important. It's only for owner-occupied, not for investment properties. There's a few criteria around the build purchase contract, so let's go through those. The build contract has to be signed between the 4th of June 2020 and the 31st of December 2020. So there's only a short window of opportunity, so make sure you get in quick. The other thing that's important is that the build construction has to commence within 3 months of the date of the contract to be eligible. Now, interestingly, in the application form, it does actually say that if you can't meet that 3-month period, there are some specific circumstances where the government will consider giving you a 3-month extension, which will ultimately give you 6 months to commence your construction after you've signed the building contract. But another important thing to note is that the build contract must be an arm's length contract with a licensed builder. So it can't be a family member, it can't be an owner-builder situation. You will have to provide the copy of the builder's license registration with your application for the grant. Now, to be eligible, you have to be an Australian citizen. You do need to show a 100 points ID check, and you need to show your Australian passport or your citizenship certificate when you apply. You also need to be over 18 years old, and you need to be an individual. So if the property is owned in a trust or a company, it won't be eligible. You can also apply in a couple. Now, if you are a couple, it's important that you're married or that you're in a de facto relationship and actually genuinely living together. So this is really interesting because a lot of first homeowners that want to apply for this grant may not necessarily be living together at the time that they apply for the grant and maybe wanting to buy a first home to live in together. So it'll be interesting to see how that is taken into consideration. But it does say on the application that registered relationships will be acceptable, and there is a process that you can take to register your relationship with the South Australian government if you need to make sure you're eligible for this as a couple. Now, this grant is means tested, income tested, so for an individual you have to be earning less than $125,000 a year, and for a couple it's less than $200,000 a year combined. And this means testing is based on your tax returns. And what you need to do is when you apply for the grant, you need to be able to show your notice of assessment from the Australian Taxation Office for either 2019 financial year or the 2020 financial year that's just passed. So that's really important. Now, one of the things that we were waiting to hear from when we got this information was the timing of the payments. So when would you actually receive these grant payments? So let me go through that now because it's a little bit different depending on how you're going to approach your project. So if it's a new build, you're building a new house from scratch, you'll be paid the $25,000 grant after the first progress payment has been made to the builder. So what that means is that you need to buy the land and settle on the land, you need to start the build process, and you need to pay the builder the first progress payment in full before you'll be eligible to apply for this $25,000 grant. If you're purchasing a brand new property, so that's either off the plan or just purchasing a brand new property that's never been lived in before, then you will be eligible for the grant after you can submit evidence to show that you are now the new owner of that property. So your name actually has to be registered on the certificate of title to be eligible. So that's a really interesting point because it means that you can't use that $25,000 towards the purchase price of that property. It will come as a gift at the end. Now, if you are doing a renovation, it's a little bit different again. Like I said, you have to spend at least $150,000 on your renovation. And basically, the South Australian government has said that they will make the payment of the $25,000 after you can show evidence that you've already paid your builder $150,000 towards the renovation. So you need to be able to prove and show evidence of payments and receipts to your builder of at least $150,000 before you'll be eligible to receive the $25,000 grant from the government. So it's really important that you make sure, based on the timing of these payments, that you make sure you've got enough funds when you need them throughout the process of the project, regardless of which way you're going to go. Payments also going to be made to your nominated bank account. So when you do the application, you'll have the ability to nominate a bank account where the payment will be made. But overall, I think this grant is great. It really gives a lot of people the opportunity to proceed with renovation projects that they might have put on hold, or also a great opportunity once again for first home buyers to get into the market with a substantial boost towards their deposit. And I really encourage you to explore this grant and see if you can apply for it and see if you're eligible. And of course, we'd love to help you with that. Of course, as a Rise High client, we'll help you with the application process. It's just part of our service, and we'd love to help you with any questions you have about the grant and how you can get your hands on that $25,000. So that's all there is for me today. If you have any questions, we're here to answer them. Please send us a message, write them below. We will attempt to answer them as best as we can, and we'd love to help you with your project. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.